back. Man, y'all already know what time it is, man.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show. We back at it again at the return of the late night show, man. The return, man.
Sure,
hey, look.
sure.
Return, man.
They've been asking for it.
Yeah, they've been asking for it, man. But you know, we're every now and then we'll change it up. We'll go to we'll go from evening to night. But you know, we'll hold down both time slots, man. That's how we do it on the 50-50 Show every Tuesday. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to clock in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. And hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels. Yeah, man. The silent intros, man, are still continuing, man. Hey, don't worry, the intros will be we'll have a new 50-50 intro. Definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in. We're going live on both our channels, so you definitely want to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Man, we got a lot to talk about. The NFL Combine has came and gone. We're gonna talk about the winners and losers of that. Obviously, the Maxx Crosby saga continues, man. I feel like we talk about this all the time, but there's always something new coming up. So there's a few things, man. We got top NFL insiders contradicting each other with their reports, recently. And then you got Max recently in a sit-down podcast, and he was asked directly, "Are you a Raider for life?" And there wasn't a direct answer. I was like, there's some people kind of interpreted that whole interview a different way. They were like, oh, well, Max kind of, that means Max is going to be a Raider for life. You guys need to stop talking about this. But then there's we'll get into it. There's some stuff, on social media where we heard about Max saying his goodbyes at a team, event, which was interesting. I don't know if does it mean something? Is it more, we might be looking into the situation a little bit more than usual, but hey, we're here to talk about all Raiders, everything Raiders, and Maxx Crosby is a Raider, man. So we got to make sure we stay up to date on that. And I'm trying to think. You know what? Hey, free agency's around the corner, meaning next week. I think the tampering period starts next week, so we're gonna get into a little bit of our wish list of guys heading into next week's free agency. Obviously, we all know the Raiders have the number 2 cap space in the NFL. We'll get into some of the guys on that list. So we got a lot to talk about. And the usual stuff, the flags on the play, the notable quotables, all that good stuff. We'll bring that to y'all, man. But we appreciate y'all, everybody pulling up. We see y'all. Salute, my guy Raider way in the building, man. Salute. Appreciate you coming through. Chill Ray in the building was good. The one love, he says, what's up? What's going on? Omega says it's still happening. Yes, it is, sir. We back at it, man. It is. You know how it is. Late night show, man. Chill Ray says trade Max, tired as DV. You know what, bro? I'm not gonna shit on Max at the end of the day. It's just, to me, this is just business. It's just business. It's nothing personal. I have nothing against Max. I don't hate Max. I think Max is a great player. I wish it would have worked out. But the way I look at it, I'm just looking at it the best interest of the Raiders. And, even for Max, too. It's a kind of a win-win type of situation. Like, Max kind of goes, because I know he has aspirations to win right now. That's what he wants to do. He wants to win right now. And I don't necessarily think the Raiders are on that timeline. But, we'll have that. We've had that conversation so many different times. I think it's very simple and plain and makes sense. But I guess we can just get right into it. Brother, yeah, in the building. Salute, man. My guy, man. Appreciate you coming through and supporting as always. Upstate NY, man. Raider Dave in the building was good. Hey, Raiders, man. Appreciate you going up, man.
My guy.
Yeah, man. It's all good. It's all good, man. We pray. TK was good, TK, man. Appreciate you coming through. I think we're gonna do call-in. We're gonna bring that call-in this week or
call-in Thursday.
Yeah. We're gonna bring it. Yeah, we're gonna bring the call-in this week for sure.
Yeah. I think I seen Coach in here earlier. So salute my guy, Coach. You know I reached out to the circus, man. They wasn't rocking with me, dog. So sorry. I'm still here.
Man, smoke in the building, man. When we were kids, I can understand attachment to a player, but bro, nobody's bigger than the Shield. Had a good run, but it's time to wiggle, Max. Yeah, man. It's just that simple. Like, this is no hate. This is no hate at all. Like, this is just
at all.
Like, what sense does it make to hold on to a player, and then he gets old? The Raiders are not good while he's here, and then he leaves for nothing. We've already seen that. We've seen that happen to the Raiders. And we're like, and all we could talk about is like, damn, we didn't get nothing from. You know who I'm talking about, right? Derek Carr.
Yeah.
The Raiders could have traded Derek Carr and got something for him. You know, especially a starting caliber quarterback. Yeah. However way you feel about him, like, you know, if you wanted to read into some of the rumors within the last 2 or 3 years that the Derek Carr was with the Raiders could have got a first round pick.
2. They said the coach was willing to give up 2. We went from getting 2 first-round picks to absolutely nothing.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I guess since we're talking about it, I guess we can get into it, and then we'll get into the combine, all that good stuff. So, this week, Albert Breer and Jeremy from ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, 2 guys respected around the league, insiders. When they drop some gems, people pay attention to. Albert Breer, obviously, he chimed in this week, and he was like, he pretty much alluded to Maxx getting traded this week. He's like, he sees Maxx getting traded, and he actually thinks that he's gonna get traded this week. Which is, I was like, man, that's crazy. That's a crazy. He felt pretty good enough to say that. And then you go to Jeremy Fowler. The way he talked about the situation was, the Raiders don't want to trade Maxx. Maxx really hasn't come out and said anything, so he doesn't think that Maxx gets traded. And this is coming from Jeremy Fowler, and Fowler, is also a respectable source as well. So you got 2 contradicting reports coming from 2 different respectable, insiders around the league. Glazer is also a guy that drops a lot of, news around the NFL, and he early on he kind of was like alluding to Maxx not coming back. So it's just like, man, to Chill Ray's point, I think the main thing that he was trying to say earlier when he said, I'm tired of this Maxx stuff, I think what it is like, let's just get it over with. I think some of the fans is kind of like, just get it over with. We're kind of tired of hearing this stuff. Like, it's just, you might as well just get over with. Like I said, for me, nothing personal. I'm not mad at Maxx. I'm not gonna call out Maxx and be like, oh, he's not a Raider. He's an all-time great. He's an all-time Raider. He's the face of the team. He's gonna go on to do great things, I'm sure, with the next team, and much success to him. When I talk about the Raiders, I want the Raiders to win, not just now, but long term. Yeah. So I can realistically look at this team and be like, are they ready to win now? No. But can we win later? Yeah, that's a really good possibility. But what's going to help that happen? Even help them win now. There's a possibility that can happen too, especially when you get a young QB, new coach, offensive, minded coach, good play caller. We've seen teams kind of hit the ground running. I'm not expecting that from the Raiders, but I'm just saying, like, you add more talent to the team, which getting multiple first-round picks or first-round pick and a player or, combination of premium picks, a package to get Maxx, that's going to help the team. That's just my take on it. But, I've said that time and time again. I'm kind of like tired of talking about it, but it's just funny that like people are just like so shocked that you would think like this. Like, why would you, what does it make sense to trade away a great player like Maxx and this, that, and the third? It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, those reports came out. And let me go ahead and play a clip from that recent podcast, because I talked about it earlier, right?
Yeah.
There's a recent podcast that Maxx was able to sit down and talk about, and I think he was asked directly. He was asked directly, "Are you a Raider for life?" And it's almost like he was kind of caught off guard. I was like, "What? You didn't expect? You didn't even expect that?" And and the way he reacted to it was like, "Oh, you're trying to have a viral moment. You're trying to have she's trying to have that viral moment. Oh man, like, when someone asks you, how when someone asks a direct question and the person tries to stall and trying to not answer the question and figure out a way to answer the question without answering the question.
Yep.
Well, that's how I took it. But I'm gonna play the clip real quick if y'all didn't see it already. I mean, it's been floating around social media. Let's see here. Here goes the clip.
Hey,
Oh God.
Maxx.
I had a feeling.
I've been seeing things on the internet. So are you a Raider for life, or what's happening?
God.
Can you talk about this?
She's trying to go viral.
Can
She's trying to get mad.
Can you?
She's trying to go viral.
I know you said you don't do the clip thing. I'm kidding.
see?
No, I'm just. Can you talk about it? Can you not talk? No.
You're not kidding. Anyway, I've talked about this too much. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Life is good. I'm blessed. I'm happy.
You're gonna be
Sarah
successful
Safari's on my
regardless of where you are.
podcast. Life's good. I'm with my best friend. Got my boys with me. I mean, I'm good. Life
Have
is
you
good.
met your new coach?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like him? Are you
Yeah.
excited?
Seems like a great guy. Absolutely.
That's good.
Oh man, seems like a great guy.
That was the most. It's the most uninspired. I told you, man. Clint ain't inspiring nobody, bro. That shit was. It was dry. So he was like, yeah. So he was like a great guy. Oh man, but yeah, man. Know what that was like? It's like if you like your girl asks you like who you talking to? You be like, wait, like what do you mean? What do you mean who I'm talking to? Like who you texting over there?
Yeah.
Like what you talking about? Like
Yeah.
I'm not. Are we doing this? Are we really about to do this right now?
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
want to argue.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just answer the question. Just answer the question. Like, like all the things he said, he could have just been like, "Yeah, I'm a Raider for life." I've been saying that, and I'm gonna continue to say that. But that's like the omission was an admission, where it's like he may be seeing there may be some writing on the wall, So, look, and we talking about all these rumors that we've heard about rumblings about Maxx before, but it's never been this much. It's never been this like consistent for months from multiple people, all kind of saying the same thing. It makes sense for the Raiders at the combine. It makes sense for the Raiders to do it. Everybody's saying the same thing. Jay Glazer, who's friends with him, saying it's going to happen. Like all these people are essentially saying the same thing. And then the way Maxx has been moving, it's not moving quite like he was in the past, where I'm for sure a Raider, I'm locked in, yada yada yada. Like in the past, it's been more from people like me, people like you are saying like, "Yo, bro, let's trade him." Like, hey, you know what? Get what we can for him. Like we're not going to win. It's not the same timeline. Let's go ahead and make the deal. We said it during the season. I started saying it before the season. Like, it just makes sense to do it. And now it continues to make sense to do it. So just do it. Nike, right? Just do it.
Right.
Like like people are, like, well, why are you going to trade your best player for? Like, he's an elite player. Why are you going to trade him? Why you trade an elite player like that? Because him by himself isn't making an impact. And we've had a defense ranked better than 24th one time with Maxx Crosby here. Is that all of Maxx Crosby's fault? No. But obviously, we haven't been able to build a defense around him. So let's take the assets we get from Maxx Crosby to fill in several other spots. So maybe that one player is not able to do what we need him to do. But if we can take that one player and turn him into 4 players, then we can fill in multiple spots. And then we have a better group overall, as opposed to one really good player that's, attempting to lift an entire unit.
Facts. No, I agree with that, because at the end of the day, I've said this about the Raiders, and I feel like this is like the elephant in the room that people don't bring up, is the first thing they think about, oh, we don't have the coach, we don't have the quarterback. Like, the Raiders always are like looking for that top. They're looking. I mean, that's a lot of the NFL. They're looking for that top 5, top 3 quarterback. But the Raiders' problem, and why they haven't been good, they haven't gone to the playoffs, is their inability to build a good football team. Just an overall good football team. When you look at the best NFL teams, the reason why you call them the best NFL teams, not because they have the best quarterback necessarily, it's because, or the best coach, it's all, you look at their roster, they have everything. And the Raiders have yet to do that. To your point, they failed Max in not being able to build around him, because he's a great player. Exactly. And they're not, and time has gone by. And he's approaching his 30s. So now you're heading into a rebuild, and you're like, you know what? You gotta sell high. You don't want to sell low. When you sell low, you're gonna be like, damn, the Raiders could have got this. Yeah. They could have got that. They could have got this. They could, like, I don't want that to happen to the Raiders. What I want them to get is I want them to get the best deal possible, and I think this is a great opportunity this offseason, because next year I'm not sure if the Raiders can get a first round pick.
Exactly.
Let's say if we come back another year with Max, Raiders don't make the playoffs, but they show some promising signs. But then you got a Maxx Crosby that's disgruntled, like, at this point, like, hey man, I'm not another losing season. And let's say he wants to leave, or he demands a trade, because right now he's not doing that. He's not coming out and saying that because he doesn't want to be the bad guy. What happens if he comes out next year? What is he gonna? What are we gonna get from a team? Maybe second round, maybe second and third, maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
depends. It depends, because a team is not going to want to give up. The part of the allure of Maxx Crosby is that, and even more so now that we know that the salary cap is going up, is that, hey, you got 2 years of Maxx Crosby on a very affordable contract, relative to his abilities as a player, right? He's on a super affordable deal. It made even better by the fact that the salary cap went up. But next year, he only has 1 year on that deal. So you're either going to have to pay him or risk him going to free agency. And you essentially gave up this valuable asset for 1 year, for a 1 year rental. And that may not be worth it to most teams. At least now you got 2 bites at the apple, and you got 2 full seasons to kind of see, okay, do I want this player to be a part of the long-term plan, or am I just doing this for the here and now to push all my chips to the center of the table, attempt to win right now, and if it doesn't work, then I jettison him, or I trade him myself, and I get what I can for him. That, like, in this scenario now, you got 2 years to make that decision. Will you come back next year and try to do that deal? You only have that 1 year, and you're probably not going to trade for him unless you have like an extension in place already. So like he's at his most valuable right now. It's not going to be the same next year, and you also run the risk of him getting hurt again sometime this season. So if he does that again this season, that drops his value even further. Like you got to make the move now.
Yeah, no, facts. All right, let me before we move on, let me throw out let me be devil's advocate on how this can play out. So obviously the Raiders can trade him. They trade him. They get a nice little trade package, get some picks back, maybe a pick and a good player, starting player, or maybe a couple of first-round picks and some change, whatever the case may be, the best deal possible. The Raiders get that. That's one scenario, right? So what happens if this scenario? What's the other scenario where he stays? Do you think it's possible that him being non-committal could be him trying to get more guaranteed money out of the Raiders? Is this could this, because he did get some, I think they gave him some type of deal, more guaranteed money last offseason.
Yeah.
But it was a team friendly deal. Could he possibly angle in for, all right, well, if I don't get traded, then y'all gonna have to pay me even more? You think that's a possible scenario?
I mean, it could be a scenario, but that's another reason why I want the Raiders to trade him, because you think about when Maxx is gonna be, when this contract is up, I think Maxx is gonna be about to go into his 33-year-old season. I think he'll be 32, about to be 33 when this deal is up. And at that point, you kind of got to make a decision again. And really, you got to make a decision again after this year. If you're the Raiders, you got to make the decision after this upcoming season of whether or not you're going to give him an extension. Because ideally, you don't want a Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson situation where it's a lame duck year and he wants a bigger deal and you're non-committal on it because he's been hurt, or your defense still hasn't been good with them. So you don't, and so then it creates drama and tension in the offseason. You don't want that scenario playing out. So you likely have to give him an extension after this year. You're gonna give a guy that's been oft injured on the wrong side of 30, a deal for how long? Another 3 years till he's 35 years old? Like for big money, because he's going to, at this, Myles Garrett just got paid, Michael Parsons just got paid. I think by that time, Will Anderson's going to be having another contract. So you're gonna have to give this dude probably some pretty huge money at an advanced age. Do you really want to do that? So that's why it makes the most sense to move him now.
Mm-hmm. No, facts. So, and they gave him more guaranteed money last offseason. So for the Raiders to do it again, it's all, I don't know if that's realistic, but for what it's worth, the other thing that's being talked about on social media is Maxx was also at some type of commitment to excellent dinner or event, and
the CTE dinner, which is a very unfortunate name.
yeah, and he was kind of saying his goodbyes. That was like the vibe or energy that he was giving out that night. But that might be a sign that maybe he knows that it's probably he's probably as good as gone. That's a possibility. But then, then there's, just to play the other side to it, there's people saying like, whoa, Maxx Crosby's barber came out and was like, nah, don't believe the hype. He's not getting traded. And, hey, barbers are, people talk to their barbers more than their girls, you know what I'm saying? So they know, they have those conversations all the time, man, up close and personal. And they be like, hey,
facts.
Because all you could do is because you got to stay right there, and if someone's cutting your hair and they're talking to you, you're going to just talk and you're going to say whatever that's on your mind, man. You're going to be comfortable.
Exactly.
Especially if you trust someone to cut your hair.
You better be honest, too. They'll mess you up, bro. Your line will never be the same.
For real, man. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it we're talking about it almost every week because it's always something new. Something new comes up. This week it was just a lot of different things, especially in the combine, where especially during the combine, this is where a lot of people get intel from other teams, a lot of smoke screens, and it's a lot of, I'm sure teams were trying to talk to each other about possible trades and if players were available. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Spytek is playing it smart. They're saying he's not calling other teams. He's letting teams call him about it. So he's being able to kind of read the room, fill teams out, see what the offers are. And then, once it gets close to that free agency time, then, things will start heating up. Heating up because then teams kind of got to decide, well, damn, what do I want to do? Do I want to possibly come out of this free agent period without it? or do I want to just secure a guy right now? You know, so
Yeah.
I think if Spytek's doing the right thing, you know, people who were at that dinner, they kind of had the same feeling that you described, where Max was crying, and you know, it just felt like a really farewell type situation. Where people who were at the dinner last year, you know, I know people who've been at it both years, they're saying last year was a completely different vibe. It was like a culmination, a celebration. I'm a Raider for life. I'm raring to go. And this year it was much more melancholy, much more, you know, like a farewell to Raider Nation. So we'll see. Because remember, you don't want to read too much into it. Remember when, I can't remember what year it was, but Patrick Graham, he talked to the team, and they were like, oh, it kind of felt like it was a goodbye for Patrick. It might have been a year before this year, before Pete Carroll. Might have been like with AP, or when AP got like, you know, I think it was that year when he talked to the team. It felt like a goodbye situation, and then lo and behold, the Raiders bring him back for another year, you know, and then, you know, obviously he's gone now. But
Yeah,
like we kind of thought at that time, we speculated like, man, he's kind of talked to the team. There was some tears shed, and you know, some thanking the players and thanking the organization. We thought like, damn, this is the last ride for Patrick Graham, and then, you know, he got back on one more time, and he probably wish he hadn't. He probably wish he hadn't.
See, the difference is like assistant coaches can't get traded, right? So,
Nice.
so that's the only difference. But you know, we'll keep an eye on it. Free Game says, "What's up, Pharaoh? Trade Max for a 1 and a 2 or no?" Man, I really want the 2 first-round picks.
I really want that too.
But I want the 2 first-round picks, but realistically, if you're going off what the market is going to actually say that what Max is valued at, he is 29. He's going to turn 29 years old this year. I think August, right? Is it August or?
Yeah, I think he turns 30. He's turned 29, turns 30 this year. I thought he turned 30 this year. I could be wrong though.
29 or 30 this year. So he's older than the last pass rusher that we seen get traded, which is Micah Parsons.
Micah.
Yeah. The top pass rushers. There was other pass rushers traded, but Micah Parsons is the same. You put him in the same category, but the difference is the age. You know, Micah was 25 years old, and he got traded to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and a really good starting player.
Yeah. Kenny Clark, yeah.
Max, he's 29. As great as a player as he is, he's older. So that's 3-4 years, you know, older than Micah Parsons. So
yeah, I think it's like 2.5 years. I think so. I think it's closer than people's. I think it's like 2. I think Micah's like 27 or about to be 27 soon. So
I thought wasn't he 25 when he got traded?
He might have been 25 when he got traded, but
so he might be 26 this year then.
He's 26 now. I think he'll be 27 in like March or something like that. Like the end of this month or something like that. I want to say like end of this month. He turns 27 before the season. Micah does. So I think it's like a 2.5 year difference. But another difference is that, you know, Micah was, you know, Max is coming off injury too, as was Micah. But you knew when you got Micah, you're going to have to make him the highest paid, or probably not the highest paid. You're going to have to make him like Myles Garrett adjacent in terms of his money. You're going to have to give him in that same stratosphere. Max, you don't have to make that decision immediately. You got really 2 years to kind of not do that. So if you're a team, especially you're, and this is why Max, it makes the most sense to trade him, because if you're a team that's competitive, you're probably already kind of salary cap strapped. So, you know, you don't have the money or the resources to get a Max level player, you know, like literally and figuratively, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't have the resources to do that, because you're probably picking in the back half of the first round, probably in the late 20s, and you're probably right up against your salary cap or very close to it. But his contract, the way it's structured, makes it very friendly for you to trade him, because these other teams, you can move money around and you can maneuver some things around to fit a guy like Max into your cap space, where you wouldn't be able to trade for a Micah and then pay him what he wants.
Yeah. And Micah wasn't fresh out of surgery either. So yeah, it's true. That's true.
Michael was fresh out of surgery.
Was he?
Remember Mike was on the sideline in like a boot. Remember during the preseason?
Yeah, but I don't think he was. I don't know if he was fresh out of surgery. I think it might have been.
He was hurt.
Did he?
I don't remember what he was.
Yeah,
he was hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt during the season though. So I think
he got hurt during the season this year, but he was hurt in the off season too.
Yeah, but was it surgery though?
I don't remember. He was hurt. I remember he was in the boot. I don't remember. He was in the boot. I remember for sure. Or in like an air cast, something like that. So I remember like he was saying he wasn't going to be ready for. That's why he wasn't playing during preseason.
Let me see. Micah's injury with the Cowboys. Damn. Yeah, I know he tore his ACL, but what was his injury?
His ACL this year. Right.
Yeah. Mike Parsons injury with the Cowboys before trade. Let's see.
Oh, the chat said it was a lower back or injury, so it wasn't surgery. It said it was a lower back issue.
Yeah, though initially viewed as because everybody remember people were questioning like, he trying to. He not trying to play because he's trying to hold out for a contract.
For a trade, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like a lumbar facet joint sprain in his lower back, causing him to miss training camp in preseason. So, kind of different from surgery.
Different surgery, but lower back issue though.
Yeah,
back issues ain't no joke.
Yeah, but back issue, where you just need probably to recover from it when you're 26, 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. Teams are going to be like, we'll take that risk, especially when you're like a premier pass rusher. But yeah, man, I want 2 first-round picks. I want the Raiders to get the. There is a scenario there. Hey, I'm not saying trade Maxx for anything. I also want to be clear. I'm not saying trade Maxx for anything. I'm saying trade Maxx and get a huge haul back. If everybody else is trying to like shortchange you, try to give you some deals that don't make any sense, then I'm willing to hold on to Maxx. Yeah. And I think I think that's how the Raiders are playing it. They're like, you know what? Like, I don't think they're trying to burn any bridges with Maxx. There might be some bridges that might have burned, especially the way the season ended and how Maxx was frustrated and this, that, and the third. Yeah. But Maxx hasn't come out and said anything negative. The Raiders haven't really come out on negative. We just been hearing a lot of these insiders kind of implying like, hey, and then we kind of see Maxx kind of being non-committal with the team anytime it's him trying to, when people ask him like, oh, how do you feel about what's going on? There's the trade rumors and okay. And then someone actually came out and said, hey, are you a Raider forever, Raider for life? And he didn't come out and say it. He's playing a game. He's playing a game. He's playing his cat and mouse game. He's playing a game and the Raiders are doing this. Right. But because there is possibly a world where Maxx does come back, but for me, if that happens, is because the Raiders were like, you know what, like we're better off keeping Maxx than accepting that deal.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
the right deal is never materialized.
But let me ask you that because do you feel like a first and a second round pick for Maxx will you pull the trigger on that?
If it's that deal, then it has to be like a high first. It has to be like a high first. Like, I know some people in the chat said it already.
The Cowboys. What happens to the Cowboys?
The Cowboys don't have a second. They don't have a second.
No, I'm saying I think they have 2 first-round picks.
They have 2 first-round picks this year.
Ooh, if the Cowboys came calling,
they don't have a second this year.
If the Cowboys came calling 2 first-round picks, I'm doing that instantly.
Look, I was saying, the pick. What I'm doing the Rams. The Rams have the Falcons pick, and they have their own pick.
Ooh.
So you'll get the. So I don't think they're both as high. As
the Rams are trying to win the Super Bowl too.
Exactly, they're trying to win now.
Oh, that's a perfect situation. That's
and Les Snead, we already know Les Snead's mantra when it comes to draft picks.
Yeah.
So if the Rams would be ideal situation.
Yeah.
Devontae's already over there. You got a guy he knows.
Yep. I like that.
No, Jimmy G's over. I don't know if Jimmy G is still there, but Jimmy G was over there. You know, he done had Puka Nacua on his podcast before. Good relationship with Puka Nacua. You know, so I think I'm looking at that. That's a situation where you can make that happen. Obviously, a lot of people speculate the Cowboys because he's from Texas. So that makes sense right there too. But you know what? Like the Rams will be an ideal situation. And you might even be able to make the Rams look that they want to throw in Byron Young too. Okay, I'll take it. Hey,
yeah,
I'll take that.
For me, 2 first-round picks is good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Especially same draft. You talking about same draft?
Yeah, exactly.
2 first-round picks?
Exactly. Especially after we trade back from one and get some more.
And you're talking about, like, when you're talking about Cowboys, even if it was Cowboys, or let's say if it was the Rams, top 10 pick, top 15 picks. A top 15 pick and also another first-round pick. So you got a really good chance to add. So you're getting 2. Now the Raiders were really being stingy. They could easily be like throwing a player, like you said, like Byron Young, a starter or whatever. Yeah. So now you're getting like 3 players.
Yeah,
3 starting players.
And I just say Byron Young just because you low key basically replacing him with Maxx.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know why I didn't think about. I didn't think about the Rams. I didn't think about the Rams.
The Rams was like ideal because, like I said, they're all in
because they want to win. They want to win, right?
Yeah.
Like they're ready to win now.
Devontae's timeline, Matt Stafford's timeline, they want to win right now. So that'd be ideal. Especially as Matt, look, like, and as you said, Maxx got asked, "Are you ready for life?" And his response was, "Yeah, man, I love my friends." Like, all right, bro, we know what time it is.
Yeah, you already know what time it is, man. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
You caught that, Loon. Pharaoh didn't catch
it. You said what?
I was like, you talking about the trade all the first round picks, and I was like, yeah, after we trade back for one, we'll have even more.
Nah, for real. But hey, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm about to put in a poll real quick. Let me see if I put this poll. But let's move on to the combine real quick, man. The combine obviously came and gone. There were some guys that kind of like, showed out a little bit. They had some really good performances. Yeah. Some guys hurt their value. Severe. Who were some of the guys, or maybe just one guy that you feel like stood out, or that you looked at as like, hey man, if Raiders have a chance to get him, he killed it. He had a good job because this is a Raiders show. So obviously we're gonna like look at like the guys that we feel like we can pick up at some point. Who's the guy that you feel like killed the combine, had a great combine?
There's that guys that had a great combine. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq. He outside of Sonny Styles. I think we talked about Sonny Styles already, so we'll leave Sonny Styles alone. Kenyon Sadiq had a great combine. That dude is a freak of nature at tight end. I mean, he's like the new age Vernon Davis. Like that's what he potentially can be. Guys on my thumbnail, Jacoby Lane. He didn't blow up the combine, but for what he is and for what people thought he would do, I think he really was probably of all the receivers, he might have been the guy that kind of acquitted himself the best and kind of rose his stock the most, especially not even necessarily the athletic testing drills, but just the stuff he did in the field and on the gauntlet. Like, he was extremely impressive. And that's one of the things I look at the most, just how a receiver moves out there when they're doing the field work and the field drills and how they catch the ball and how fast they are through the gauntlet, like stuff I look at, because it lets me know how good are your hands. Are you a natural pass catcher or not? Like that shows me that. And when I see guys like, I remember like vividly, one of the things when I was looking at Justin Jefferson and I was telling people, Justin Jefferson is better than Jerry Jeudy. One of the things I looked at was, look at how he's just gliding through the gauntlet, catching the ball effortlessly, like naturally. You can tell he's a natural receiver. So I was highly impressed by him. The running back at Arkansas, Mike Washington, I think he had a fantastic combine as well. Like ran extremely well, jumped well. And then the quarterback, Taylor Green, obviously, and just in terms of the quarterbacks, he's not a guy we're probably going to look at unless we take a late round flyer on a guy. But just his athletic testing drills, that dude is a freak of nature as well.
Nah, facts. So you kind of talked about some of the guys that had a great showing. I'm not gonna lie. There were some guys that didn't have a great showing. I think one of the guys that kind of like you wanted him to show out from a combine, because some people had some questions, especially about his size. Cassius Howell was a guy that some Raider fans might want in the second round. He didn't have a really good combine. People talked about Lee Hunter as a guy that who didn't have a really good combine. Well, he's a big dude. But it's still like his athleticism. You would want at least a little bit of athleticism to show out a little bit. But he didn't have a great combine. I mean, do you take? Let me ask you this: for big guys like that, do you think the combine is a great place to really show out their skill set? If you're being honest,
I think you can't really look at the athletic testing drills for those guys. A place you do want to look at though, like the jumps, you do want to see a guy's explosion. That matters. Pause if necessary, but you want to see how explosive a guy is, because like that stuff matters, right? Like how because they're not going to never run a 40. Like ideally, your D tackle ain't running 40 yards down the field, right? But you want to see like, hey, does this guy have the leg drive to instantly make an impact and to shock the offensive lineman in front of him? Like that matters. So a vertical jump that gives you a little bit of insight into kind of how explosive he is, and then like how well they move. Especially when they're doing like the pad work and all that stuff, like how good are their feet, like that stuff matters more. But I'm not looking at their broad jump on their 40 or nothing like that. That stuff matters a lot less for those guys, for the non-skilled position guys.
Nah, for sure. I mean, you mentioned Jacoby Lane, right?
Yeah,
as a guy that had a really good combine. Do you feel like that's going to be a target in the second round if he's available, or would you consider him in the second round, or is it someone that you would probably, if he's there in the third, that's probably the earliest you would take him at, because he had a good combine, but do you feel like, Denzel Ward is a guy, is a wide receiver I would take.
Boston.
Yeah, Denzel Boston, if he's available in the second round, I'm taking him. There's a good chance he go in the first round, but I'm just saying, like, if he's there in the second, top of the second, then I'll take him. But after Denzel Boston, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if there's any other receiver that I would want to take in the second round. I'm probably gonna be looking at other positions on defense or offensive line, other or linebacker. It's a great linebacker class. So
it depends on what we do in free agency and who's on the board. That's a big part of it. Because I think he is a worthy second round pick, but it all depends on who's still on the board and what we do in free agency, and then also how we feel about other guys. Like, right, do we? Because Ted Hurst is a guy I like, a guy, and I'm happy to see that's a guy who I think he acquitted himself well at the combine too. He's a guy. Now I've been had it on my radar for like a month or so now because I heard some other people mention him to me, so I checked him out. He's a guy like, oh, okay, he's a guy we could probably get a little bit later. Like, how do the Raiders feel about him? Malachi Fields is a guy. How do the Raiders feel? He didn't really run well, but how do the Raiders feel about a guy like that? That's probably going to be available later. If those guys have close enough grades on the Raiders board,
he didn't have a good showing
and
too.
They'll be available later, then you might go that route instead.
I think Malachi Fields was one of the losers too from last weekend.
Yeah, he did not run well.
He didn't run well. But Mike Washington is interesting. Like, Mike Washington is a guy, Mike Washington Jr., the running back that you were talking about, who had a great combine. I'm talking about, when I say great combine, like, if we look at the numbers, the dude athletic might have been, he might be the best in his position as far as athletic numbers. I mean, he's 6'1", 223 pounds. Ran a 4.33. He ran like a what you would want out of a wide receiver, 4.33. He ran a better 40 time than your favorite running back from last year's draft class. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say his name, but your boy Henderson, you know, for the Patriots, you know, but
he did what I thought he would do. Like Henderson, when Henderson ran a 4.4, that was disappointing for me. I thought he was being at 4.3s.
Yeah. Nah, his number's crazy. 39-inch vertical. The only thing with him is that I don't know if he would fit in the Raiders zone scheme, because that's like a weakness of his. But if the Raiders look at it as a situation where they can coach him up, and we already have Ashton Genty, and we can just put him in position to win early on until he gets used to that system, I wouldn't be mad at the Raiders drafting Mike Washington. But what the highest I would take him is the 4th round. That's the highest I'll take a running back, is the 4th round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Easy. You took a running back number 6 overall. Exactly. I'm sorry, but
that's exactly why you don't do that.
Yeah, I can't do it. You can't take a running back in the 2nd round, not the 3rd round. You can't do it, especially with the needs that we have on this team, especially with this draft. Safety class is good. The linebacker class is good. We got to get, to me, we have to figure out a way to get both those positions in this draft. So whatever round that is, we got to figure out a way to do that. But the Raiders do have 3 4th round picks. And if, Mike Washington's on the board, there's a world where you can make sense of it. And I actually like the combination because, and I'm going off what Kubiak said. He wants a 2-back. He wants a 2-back, 1-2 punch type of running back situation. And I like that. If just think about the possibility of Mike Washington. If you look at Mike Washington, he's kind of the opposite of Ashton Genty in some certain ways, from his size to his speed, and then to Genty, who's obviously his size. He's a smaller but physical back. So it's like I like the dynamic. I feel like it would be a crazy run game if the Raiders went ahead and make that pick in the 4th round, though. I wouldn't do it anything higher than that. But they can compare Mike Washington, the running back that Chargers drafted last year, Amari Hampton. It's a little bit too. Oh man, that's tough.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. Athletically, maybe I can see what they mean, but just
by looking at numbers, but how they play and stuff like that, I don't know if he's. Yeah. I don't know if he's there, but we'll see. We'll see. I was joking with you earlier, man. But like running back out of Arkansas, you already know the Cowboys. The Cowboys gonna be on it. Jerry Jones, that's his alma mater, man. He's gonna be looking at Mike Washington Jr. at some point. So I think he raised his stock after having a really good showing in the combine. Do you have him as your number 2 back?
No. Ironically, probably my number 2 back is probably Jadarian Price.
Ironically, damn. Basically, Notre Dame backfield, basically.
Notre Dame backfield, bro. And I don't want to hear no more nonsense about, he didn't have to run because he's the clear-cut number 1 guy. Like, Jeremiah Love is a for sure top 10 pick. He was already a top 10 pick already, like Ashton Genty. And he was the clear-cut number 1 back in the class, unquestioned. And the thing about him is that he didn't go against lower level of competition. So there wasn't the same questions about what is he athletically. People knew what he was athletically. And what did he do? He still went out there and he did everything. And know why he went out there and did everything? Because he had nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I know I'm fast. I know I'm going to jump well. I know I'm going to do everything well, so I'm going to come out here and show you how well I'm going to do everything. And that's what competitors do.
Yeah. No, facts. People talking about, Mike Washington probably won't make it out of the 2nd round. Yeah, I don't see him. Like 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah, I'm running like that.
Yeah. He's not. He's for sure.
We forgot to bring up our guy, Jeff Caldwell. That's another guy I got to look at. I got to check him out.
Yeah, that's Sorsby guy. You know what I mean? Sorsby's wide receiver. I really didn't like the wide receivers. I didn't like the weapons around Sorsby in Cincinnati. It kind of showed when they played good teams, good defenses. Like they felt like they got locked up. But Caldwell was a guy that wasn't like, I think he got hurt last season, but man, he's basically this year's version of Dante Thornton.
Yeah.
This year's version of Dante Thornton. I mean, that might be a little strong because I think from athleticist standpoint, I think he might be better.
Yes.
6'5", like I think he ran a faster. I think they ran about the same 40 time, but everything else he ran more vertical, better. I think Dante Thornton, he had like a 30-inch vert. Was it that bad? Was it like a 32 or 30? 32 inch vert to a 40+ vert for Jeff Caldwell. Yeah. And I think their shuttle time, I don't know if it was the cone time or shuttle time. I think Caldwell was faster.
It was the split, the 10-yard split.
10-yard split. I think Caldwell was also faster. So, that's one of those. I'm not taking him early. Cool. Look, if the Raiders learn their lessons, man, like those the combine warriors, and if that's the best thing that they're giving you, you gotta wait until later to get those guys.
Yeah, facts.
Everything gotta match up.
You gotta see how it translates. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. You gotta see how it translates.
Nah, facts. But yeah, man, I really want to get into some of the stuff from the. I know a lot of people are talking about the combine, but hold on 1 second. Let me get to it right here. DK, man, I guess it's a good segue right here. Who are both of your top 3 targets in free agents? For me, is Devin Lloyd, Linderbaum, and Woolen and Taylor. Alontae Taylor. Okay, that's a nice one. Okay, a little underrated guy. You know what I mean? I think you can probably get him for a good price too. And you could probably Alontae Taylor. You probably could put it inside. You probably put him at nickel. Be honest with you, that could be your nickel. But is he a good tackler? I don't know if he's a physical. Might be a weakness of his, but let's actually go and take a look at some of the guys in free agency here. So for me, I definitely would have Linderbaum number 1. I think that would put together, that would bring the offensive line. Like you add a Linderbaum to the offensive line. I think that would kind of put together, like you could start like, all right, you got your center, you got the middle of the defense, you got a good run blocker. That was a weakness for years. Center has been no one really talked about that, but center has been a weakness for years. We thought it was solved with JPJ, but we know what happened last year. You got changed positions. Obviously, that didn't work out. But if you remember all the good offensive lines the Raiders had in the past, they always had a good center. Always had a good center. So for them to get Linderbaum, that would be a huge free agency get. That would be my one of my top guys for sure. After that, Devin Lloyd is a guy. I just think realistically, I'm not sure if the Raiders are going to go. I don't know if they're going to get. I don't think they're going to pay more than one guy. Like they're going to pay more than one guy, but I'm saying like a big contract. I don't know if they're going to hand out 2 big time contracts. Because Devin Lloyd had a career year. He's going to want probably the best. He's going to probably be the highest paid linebacker.
Yeah. In free agency. Yeah.
Linderbaum is going to have Linderbaum, what they were talking about Linderbaum recently is that the Ravens actually have a record-setting deal
in place for him.
In place for him. He just hasn't like signed it. And to be honest with you, I get why he didn't sign it, because if he tests free agency, it's Rap City.
Yeah. Paid. You're gonna get paid.
Yeah. I can see the Raiders go, this is what the Ravens offered you? Oh, we'll offer you this. No sales tax, remember? No tax in Vegas. No sales tax in Vegas. You know what I mean? You're gonna get every dime. You're gonna get every dime of your contract. So I do like Devin Lloyd, but realistically, I'm not sure if the Raiders would be able to get him unless they miss out on Linderbaum, and then I'd be like, all right, I would be good with Devin Lloyd. Is there, big time free agency get, and then everybody else after that. Another guy that I like is Alec Pierce, but damn, I seen the contract. Like Alec Pierce is one of the guys that I liked because then that you sign him, you get a starter on the outside, kind of fits what the Raiders need. He fits what the Raiders need. Will be a nice little veteran option. Guy that been a productive player with the Colts. Kind of fits what Mendoza likes to do. But the problem is, I seen the contract that he possibly might get. And I'm like, damn. 25 mil?
I'm not doing it.
25 mil a year?
Not doing it. Not after you don't pay Jacoby.
25 million a year. That was one of my guys. I was easily gonna be telling y'all like Alex Pierce would be one of my top free agents. I'm like, can't do it. Can't do it. It's tough, but if they can get it lower than that, maybe 20, 21, 22.
If it's like 22, that's what the salary cap is at now, 22, 23. You can't get mad at that. That's like number 2 receiver money.
I like Boye Mafe, man, from Seattle Seahawks. I think the Raiders going to a 3-4. You get like an athletic guy that can pass rush, that can you can have him play linebacker. Because right now the Raiders, if you think about it, like they gotta go into a 3-4. They're gonna have to like really add to that defense and get players that fit that defense. So, and it's funny too. Tyree would actually kind of be perfect for a 3-4. At 3-4 in. I actually, from a physical standpoint, I'm like, oh, okay, you could put him at the, but then you gotta tell Tyree to actually do what he needs to do to get to the quarterback, and that's a whole different story, man. But Boye Mafe is a guy that I want the Raiders to look into. And I guess a third guy, like I kind of changed up with some of the guys. Like Alec Pierce was a guy I liked, but obviously I'm hesitant because of the contract. I'm trying to look at some of these guys here. I do want the Raiders to get another offensive lineman, and we're losing. We're gonna be losing. We're gonna have unless you think Caleb Rogers is gonna take the left guard spot. But I probably want to grab someone in free agency, a veteran in free agency, to add some competition. David Edwards from Buffalo Bills. I won't be mad at that.
Won't hate that either.
I wouldn't be mad at that. So I think that would be nice. Severe, who are your top 3 guys?
My top 3 guys. My top 3 targets would probably. I know everybody goes to Linderbaum. I like JPJ, so I'm sticking JPJ back at his natural position where he should be playing, and that is back at center. And people say what you want about him. When Meredith was at left guard, was a very competitive player at left guard, especially in a zone scheme. So I think you can make that work. So, the weakest link on the offensive line has been Dylan Parham, and last year was a little bit of DJ Glaze, but I think if you go after my number 1 target is Rasheed Walker from the Packers. You go after him, slide him at right tackle, kick Glaze in at guard. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone right there, and then you got JPJ back at center. I would strongly consider putting Meredith at left guard, but let Meredith and Caleb Rogers compete it out for that left guard spot and may the best man win over there. Number 2, Nakobe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Nakobe Dean. He's a guy that when he was coming out of Georgia, I thought he was the best linebacker in that class. He was undersized. He ended up falling a little bit as a result of it, and the Eagles were able to swoop him up. And, they won the Super Bowl partly because of it. He's a guy that I'm sure Ashton Genty was seeing him in his nightmares because that game against the Eagles, everywhere Ashton Genty went, Nakobe was right there to smack him dead in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of guy he is. He flows to the ball, highly instinctive player. I think he's a little bit undersized, but I think he can work well in this system. And guess what? We have his linebackers coach that came over from the Eagles. And then kind of going back and forth between where I want to go with this last choice. Do I want to go with a wide receiver? Do I want to go with, potentially a corner if we don't bring Eric Stokes back? Do I want to go with a defensive lineman? But I'm gonna go with Alontae Taylor. I think he's a guy that, we need that kind of player to play in a nickel, be a feisty, physical dude. Ain't not afraid to help in the run game as well. I think that he's a guy, and obviously Kubiak has some familiarity with him, I think, from his time with the Saints. So there was already be a little bit of a rapport there. And I think Joe Woods would as well, because he was over there with the Saints. I think he was a defensive coordinator at the time under Dennis Allen, so he would also have familiarity with them as well. So he's a guy that I'd be looking to target also. And then obviously him being a DB, he'd be working, or he'd be being coached directly by Joe Woods, a guy who he should already have a relationship. I think that would be a match made in heaven right there.
So I wonder, because Jamal Dean is also a free agent corner, and the Raiders could easily add to the secondary. They could re-sign some of the guys on defense, but I'm thinking hey, if anybody knows who Jamal Dean is, obviously Spytek, who's with the Bucks, he's gonna be familiar with them. Yeah. And Spytek is not a guy I don't know, he's not a guy that we've heard him in interviews say that he doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money in free agency, typically speaking, right? He doesn't want to he wants to build through the draft. That's his whole thing, right? But we all know the Raiders need a whole bunch of talent. They have so many free agents, especially on defense. They have to build that offensive line. If you're going to draft a rookie QB, you're going to have to build the trenches. So that's why a lot of what we're talking about here is, getting some offensive line help. But defense needs some talent too. I wonder if Jamal Dean might be a target for Spytek, because if you're going to give money to a player, you probably want to give money to a player that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a connection. So I wonder if Jamal Dean is a target for the Raiders.
I think it could be. I don't know what Rob Leonard wants to run on the back end of the defense in terms of secondary. Because Jamal Dean, he has his strengths and his weaknesses. I don't really like him too much. If we're going to be a heavy zone, that's where I don't really want to have a guy like that. So if it's between and what he may cost too, between that, I'll see what Eric Stokes wants. Eric Stokes is still fairly young. We were able to keep him healthy. I think he had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
He wasn't really tested a lot, but I think he'll come in much more affordable than a guy like Jamal Dean was. And I think if we're going to run a lot of zone, I was kind of worried about him running, being a zone corner. But that cover 3 system, I think he worked out well for him. So I don't know what Rob Leonard's going to run in the back end though. So depending on that could determine a lot. And the thing that would be worrisome is if Eric Stokes isn't a fit for what we run in the secondary, then Darian Porter probably isn't either.
I'm thinking outside. I'm gonna think outside the box, because usually sometimes there's always gonna be situations or signings that we probably didn't see coming. But when Clint Kubiak mentioned a 2-back system, they could address it. They could grab a guy in the draft, or they can go in free agency and get someone that's capable of being a nice complement to Ashton Genty. Or if Ashton Genty get hurt, they feel comfortable with him taking, taking over that position while Genty's hurt, or whatever the situation is, right? And that would be tough to do that with a young rookie, right?
Yeah.
Got guys that you draft in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, because that's where we would project a running back be taken by the Raiders this year, right? Yeah. We're not projecting them to take a running back in the first 3 rounds. So I'm thinking they're probably going to address the position. There's a good chance they address the position in free agency. Rico Dowdle is a free agent.
Yeah.
Do you see him as a possible fit? I mentioned Mitchell from the Ravens as a possible fit.
Yeah.
Like, where do you see it going? Because Mitchell, I don't look at him as an every down guy. So I don't know if they're looking for a guy like that, a role player where, you know, he just kind of like compliments Ashton Genty in certain ways, but because I know he has a little bit more speed. Or is it a guy like, hey, like he can give you some juice, like he can give you. I know Tyler, running back from the Algier. He's a free agent, but he might be looking for his own opportunities. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's too similar to Ashton Genty. Like,
yeah,
you got two like
how you feel about Rico Dowdle being an option for the Raiders?
So Rico Dowdle is a definite no, because Rico Dowdle, the reason he's leaving the Panthers is because he doesn't want to share. He doesn't want to be in a tandem, because he was in a tandem with Chuba Hubbard. So the reason he's leaving the Panthers is because he feels he's an RB1. Now, if he gets out there and he realizes that all those doors are closed,
for sure,
you know, it's musical chairs at that point, where if you find a seat, you know, you find a seat, or you out the game.
Yeah.
So it might be one of those situations where nobody out there is willing to make him RB1, and then he's forced to come here. I'm looking at the Cardinals where, you know, James Conner, how healthy are you? You know, do you really want to do that? Or if Rico Dowdle wants to go to a situation where he's going to be a RB2 somewhere, like, you know, the Lions just traded just traded Ashton Genty Sr. and David Montgomery. Like, either just traded him to the Texans. So that's opportunity there. So there are going to be some other opportunities out there if he wants to be in a tandem. But he's expressed that, you know, he wants to test free agency because he wants to be the lead back in the system. And obviously, you come here. Anybody outside of, you know, the very upper echelon of the NFL running backs, they're going to have to take a back seat, at least initially, to Ashton Genty.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the reason why I'm looking at Mitchell, I think about it, I'm like, man, yeah, that makes sense. But we don't really know what Kubiak. I know a lot of people are like, don't take what he said too serious. And then some people are like, nah, he wants to get another bag that's just as good as. But it kind of makes sense if you're gonna come out and say two backs, then I'm sure you probably want a guy that can spell Genty but also hold his own.
Exactly, yeah.
So what does that look like? Who's that look like? Is that a guy that you draft a guy? You know what I mean? Do you draft a guy like in the 4th, 5th, 6th round that can come in? Or I'm thinking a veteran. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of threw out like, all right, you know, Tyler Algier, but you know, with him, everything that you said about Ricky Dowdle, I think about Tyler Algier. That's why I kind of really didn't talk about him too much, but that'd be nice. And I know you said similar style, but it's just, you still got two guys that can hold their own. So that I get the similar styles, but I'm just saying, like, you got two guys that, like, if Genty goes down, boom, you got Algier to come in.
Guy,
yeah, like, and he's not gonna miss a beat. But after that, I'm not looking at Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is probably gonna get the bag. I'm not looking at those guys. I'm just looking at guys that's gonna come at a reasonable cost. I mean, Najee Harris, coming off a torn Achilles.
Najee Harris is a free agent again.
Yeah, and he's working his way back from a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an invite to training camp. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Najee Harris, that's tough. That's tough. But there's other guys that, you know, second, third way. The way this free agency set up, it's like there's not really a lot of top tier, like first wave caliber guys. You know what I mean? That makes sense for the team. There's guys, but like. Yeah. There's probably one or two guys that I think the Raiders are going to target, but then the second or third wave, I think that's when the Raiders are going to do a lot of work. And I'm looking at, like, Elijah Vera Tucker. That's another interesting name because I know the talent is there. It's just injuries has been an issue for him. So if the Raiders can find a way to bring him on a 1-year deal, just like they did with
he's been hurt, yeah. He's been hurt ever since he came out of SC though. But yeah, that would be smooth.
Bruh, you know what I mean?
No, I was thinking though, like, and this goes to what you were saying before, and they don't need this guy probably because they discovered they discovered his replacement. And I remember you were mentioning Jamal Dean, and I said, you know what, depending on their scheme, if we're, that would may cause some issues there. But Rashad White from Tampa.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Spytek knows him. Spytek knows him.
He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think he has a little bit of juice.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can complement Genty well, and I don't think he's going to cost the bag either.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's a guy you can slide right into the RB2 slot.
Yep.
He knows his role. He's been in the tandem before, so I think that'll be a smooth one right there.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. But yeah, because look, I'm telling you, Spytek, he kind of showed him, like when he said that he doesn't want to spend money, like he's a frugal guy in his own life, personal life. He told you everything about him as far as how he treats free agency. But the Raiders are going to spend some of that money, a lot of that money, to be honest with you, because they're they got so many free agents, like they have to build out the roster. But he's gonna go after guys that he's familiar with. He did that last year. Yeah. It was with the guy. It was an offensive lineman that no one really liked, but he did it last year. He's gonna find a way to do it this year. Yeah. So we got.
I'm looking at the chat. They keep bringing up Kenneth Gainwell. What you think about Kenneth Gainwell?
Nah. He's gonna want the bag.
Yeah.
He gonna want the bag. And Genty's already getting paid like one of the best running backs in the NFL, or at least one of the best contracts at running back. And Walker, he's coming off a really good year for himself, career year, and then on top of that, he won the Super Bowl and he was a Super Bowl MVP. He's probably gonna want to get paid.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool. That's too much money in a running back, bro. Like that's too much.
No.
Like I can make sense of like drafting a running back, like a talented running back, Mike Washington, if he's there in the fourth. There's another guy too, Emmett Johnson. What do you like? How you feel about him, running back?
Where's he from? Oh, the running back. Oh yeah. I mean, in the fourth.
His combine wasn't great, but like man, like when you watch him play, it's like
watch him play.
Ooh.
But and I think he fits. A guy like Spytek,
he fits that zone scheme too. You can see him fitting that zone scheme.
Exactly. And a guy like Spytek, he's going to value the tape more than the combine numbers, right? Like maybe the coaching staff they'll look at the combine numbers and say, you know what, hey, well, look what I can do with this guy. But Spytek will be a guy that what has he put on grass? What has he done between those white lines? And seeing how he's played, obviously he has to be available there in the fourth, and that's kind of the sweet spot that we kind of already talked about for a running back. And then after that fourth round, I think he's a system fit. Obviously, he'll be a rookie, so he'll be able to slide into that number two, the RB2 spot behind Genty. I think he'll like to work. He wouldn't mind working with a running back like Genty. I think that would be a nice tandem there. But you know what? Like, will he be available there? And will we have already addressed that position via free agency to where Spytek thinks, oh, a fourth round pick, that's still a little bit too rich for my blood?
I think the Giants they released their starting middle linebacker who had 143 tackles last year. Bobby, I think it was Okiri or something like that.
Oh, Bobby, the dude from Stanford, I think.
I think he played. Yeah. Didn't he play for the Colts?
Play for the Colts. Yeah.
He played for Colts.
I think he's from Stanford.
Yeah. Do you think that the Raiders look into him in free agency? He was getting paid like $9 million a year with the Giants. I'm sure I don't think he probably is going to get that much.
Nah,
maybe half. Maybe half that.
I'm not half that, but it'll be like 7.5, 7.5, something like that.
Would you consider him in this type of defense?
I'd try to look for other options. To be honest with you, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I think the Raiders may kick the tires on Devin White and see what they can do with him, especially like being able to use him as a pass rusher sometimes, an outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may kick the tires on him as well. So, but hey, I wouldn't hate Bobby. I mean, I when he was coming out of Stanford, he was like one of my sleeper guys that I like. A little bit later in that draft, he went to the Colts. He played solidly, and then he kind of fell off my radar after that. I forgot he was with the Giants, but I'm not looking at tackle numbers. Devin White. Was Devin White like number 2 in the league in tackles or something like that?
Yeah, I know. Tackle numbers is kind of overrated. Like, yeah, I could talk about former Raiders that had great tackle numbers, but that I didn't look at him as one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
Oh man, remember our boy, but not our boy. What's the dude from the linebacker from the Lions? We got
linebacker from the Lions that we got.
Damn, the Raiders got. What's my guy's name?
Like recently, or in the past? Like
it was under Gruden. I want to say it was before we picked up Perryman. I want to say
before we picked up Perryman,
name, bro. I can't think of his name. Usually I remember these guys. I can't remember his guy's name.
Let's see if the chat will. Let's see if the chat.
I keep wanting to say Raekwon McMillan, but it's not him.
Yeah,
because they got him from the Dolphins. It's before Perryman. Damn, I can't think of my guy's name. It started with L. No, Corey Littleton came from the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the number 1 free agent that every Raiders fan was commentating before. Hassan Whiteside.
Oh yeah, Tariq Whiteside.
Not Hassan Whiteside. Tariq Whiteside.
Hassan
Whiteside, basketball player.
Yeah.
Tariq Whitehead. Was it Whiteside or Whitehead?
Damn. Oh, Hassan Whiteside was actually he played in
basketball
NBA.
player.
He played NBA.
Yeah.
It was Whitehead. Tariq Whitehead, I think.
Yeah, Tariq Whitehead. Yeah. Hassan Whiteside was a basketball player. Tariq Whitehead.
Yeah.
That dude. I remember he had like some great tackle numbers with the Detroit. Maybe with us too. But he was buns.
Yeah. That is an overrated stat, the tackle numbers. But it can
be. It can be.
It's a good stat. Like it shows some level of productivity, but then it doesn't mean that they're a great player.
Exactly.
Like you got to put it all into context. Like you got to put their entire, you know what I mean? Like you got to put everything into context. Yeah, Whitehead. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
I remember. He was cheeks.
Yeah.
He was, and it was crazy that like I looked at his stats. I was happy. We got him. Oh man, this dude is putting up numbers. And then I was all the people I know some Lions fans are like, yeah, just watch. Just like how you did your boy with Todd Downing. He's like, oh yeah, watch. Wait to see. That's how they was telling me with Tariq Whitehead. Like, all right, you look at them tackle numbers you want to. He making them tackles 8 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
Or to get cooked by a tight end on an in route.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think like, would you want to like if you the way you approach free agency, are you gonna approach free agency knowing that like, all right, the draft, you're doing your work on the draft, right? And you know that, all right, this is a good draft for safeties, a good draft for linebackers. When you approach free agency, are you like, you know what? We're not going to overspend on those positions.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we can get those positions in the draft. So safeties and linebackers, we might grab some guys, but it's going to be on the cheaper end. We're not going to put too much money into that. I know you mentioned Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean might ask for a little bit more, but then they're going to go through a 3-4, so they're going to need multiple linebackers. So grabbing on Nakobe Dean might not be a bad idea, but
yeah.
But do you approach it that way? Do you think teams approach it that way, where they're like, hey, you know what? This is a good linebacker draft, it's a good safety draft, some good wide receivers. Do you really want to throw too much? You want to throw money in free agency at those positions when you know you can grab them in a draft?
I think you always want to find value. Like, for example, like Andre Sisco is a guy I like. I think he was with, I can't remember who he was with last year. But I think he came out of Syracuse. I think he spent most of his career with the Jaguars. But he's a guy I really like at safety. I think he was hurt last year, but I think in terms of ability, he's a guy that I think that's really good value. So if you can find really good value on a guy like that, take a risk on a player like that, give him a cheap contract, and potentially fill a need. And then if you find like, 'cause I look at, and especially now since free agency is before the draft, I look at it where you want to use free agency to address needs. So when you go into the draft, you aren't defensive at any position, right? You want to be able to attack value in the draft and not put yourself in a position where you feel a need to take a certain player or a certain position because there's a glaring hole there for you. Like obviously right now, the Raiders, they have a glaring hole at quarterback. So like they're in a position where they essentially have to take a quarterback. But other areas whether it's safety, right? Grab a safety so you don't feel, I really need a safety right now. Grab a RB2, even if it's a cheap guy, so you don't feel going there you can feel confident. Okay, I have a backfield. Do I want to upgrade it? Okay, I can do that. Try to get another wide receiver out there so you don't go into the draft like, damn, I got to reach in round 2 for Jacoby Lane, and I really didn't want to do it, but if I don't grab him, look at my wide receiver core. Like, it's Jack Besh and Dante Thornton on the outside. Like, feel me? So, like, you want to use free agency to kind of set yourself up for the draft. And so you can draft according to your board. And that's how I look at free agency now.
Yeah. So they're going to address free agency and then the draft. That's pretty much the timeline. Like, free agency comes first before the draft. But what I'm saying is, like, if they know that they could grab a linebacker and safety because they feel good, like, hey, this is a really good class in both positions. I'm not saying they don't grab those positions. What I'm saying is, does that affect your mentality of how much you invest money into those contracts? Like, would you go out and get Devin Lloyd for however, records breaking deal in free agency?
Yeah.
But then this is a great linebacker draft.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think that the value relative to what the contract the guy's going to demand and the depth of that position in a particular draft class, I think the NFL basically across the board has those same feelings. So I don't think it's a situation where it's like just exclusively to the Raiders, where they're like, I think the market is already set at that point. So where it's like, guys are going to slide into their values because this is like a universal feeling. Like the universal feeling is this is a really good safety class. So I think everybody in the NFL knows this is a really good safety class. So like nobody's going to really feel the need to spend a lot on a safety because everybody knows this is a good safety class. So I think the value is already set somewhat. It's already like kind of baked in.
No, I got you, man. But Ace Boy had a good question. He says, why is Lincoln Kenny so high on Devin White? Want to bring him back? Did he watch the tape? It seems. You know what? I wouldn't mind Devin White back, especially because we're running 3-4. Because now you could probably hide him a little bit more.
Or you use him as a pass rusher, which he's good at.
Like capitalize on skill set. Like there's obviously weaknesses to Devin White's game, but there's also strengths. So obviously, like blitzing him, he did have you could probably say he had a really good ability of being around the football, find a way to force his first turnovers. So I feel like bringing him back makes sense, especially because the Raiders, they have a lot of free agents. They're going to have to bring some of those guys back. I mean, some of those guys are not going to come back, but I think some of those guys are going to come back. And I think Devin White, just based off like the transition to a 3-4, it makes sense to bring him back. And I think in the 3-4, I think you could see him being a better fit with his skill set. And you said like an outside linebacker, you know what I mean, using a rush to passer.
Yeah, sometimes,
yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I think they should get N'Kobe and Quay Walker in free agency. Okay.
Quay Walker, I think Quay Walker gonna be costly though. That's the only thing.
You think so?
From the Packers, yeah, I think Quay Walker's gonna cost a little bit.
Quay Walker is basically the Vine Diablo.
Yeah, I think he's better than Devon Diablo. You know, I'm
No,
Devon Diablo fan.
from a perspective like athletic, he has all the tools.
Oh yeah.
But he hasn't put it together yet.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't put it together yet. Does he put it together now? Like maybe does he figure it out just like Devon Diablo kind of figured out when he went to Atlanta?
Yeah,
it's a possibility.
Did they fire? Then they fired the coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, the Raiders are gonna have to they're gonna have to bet on that. What's he said? He was around in football because he was getting beat and a step behind. I do agree he'll be better with D4 though. Oh man. But yeah, man, that's pretty much our take on free agency as far as some of the guys that we liked. I mean, there's plenty of guys. We can continue this conversation. Free agency, like we said, is gonna tampering period starts like March 9th. So that's when we start hearing all the rumors and all the connect. You know, they didn't officially sign on a dotted line, but they've agreed to terms with certain teams and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm not sure. Do the Raiders sign someone day one? Maybe I can see one day one or day two within the first 3 days.
If it was day one, it's gonna be Linderbaum, or it's gonna be like Walker, or it's gonna be the tackle from the Colts, Braden Smith. It's gonna be, if it's day one, it's gonna be one of those guys, I think.
Yeah. What scares me, Brady, I think he went down with a neck injury this year.
Yeah.
Kind of looked into that. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But Illuminor is a free agent.
He's a little bit older though, right? Isn't he like 33 or something like that?
Veteran option. Has experience being a swing tackle. Has experience kind of playing throughout the offensive line, guard and tackle. You have it as an open competition. Glaze, Charles Grant, boom, let the best man win.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think if they kind of spend a lot at right tackle, then you're kind of saying like, all right, well, you're gonna be the starter.
Yeah, for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, and the hope is that, you know, in the zone scheme, that can help DJ Glaze a little bit. That's the hope. But his pass pro, that's where his pass pro that's where he's supposed to be a strength too. His pass pro wasn't great last year, especially with speed rushers. So, I mean, we're gonna see.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Man, we gonna be continuing this conversation. You already know what time it is, man. Hey, it's that time, man. It is that time.
Personal foul.
Flag on the play.
He was giving them the business. We played it down.
Severe, what we got this week, man, on flag on the play, man? We got a couple of things. I'm not gonna lie, like some of the things that we kind of found out a little bit later than usual. But what are we talking about this week, man?
It's a little bit. It's a kind of a light flag in terms of some stuff that happened the other day. We all know, CJ Stroud is my guy.
Yeah. We
all know that he's been struggling as of late this past 2 years.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is his offensive line has not been, there's not a lot of cohesiveness. Been guys in and out of lineup, some due to injury, some other factors. But now, after 2 recent trades that the Texans have made, they only have 2. I repeat, they only have 2 offensive linemen under contract as of right now. So there is going to be a clear need for them, whether that be via free agency or the draft, for them to draft offensive linemen. Basically, they're basically showing their cards. They're essentially showing their cards right now. So you could be in a situation where you're going bargain bin hunting for offensive linemen for a guy that at one point you thought was your franchise quarterback. I just think they kind of and they use one of the offensive linemen to trade for a running back after they already have Joe Mixon and they just had Nick Chubb, and Woody Marks played pretty well last year.
They're gonna double down. They're obviously gonna add some offensive linemen in free agency.
They're gonna have to triple down.
But they're also gonna draft the offensive lineman too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're gonna have to draft multiple and sign multiple.
Yeah.
They only have 2. You need at least like 6.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah, like 6, 7.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Another notable flag on a play. you know, I don't know how you feel about it, but Greg Papa recently came out and had he was on a podcast and he was talking about, you know, his relationship with Al Davis. And he said that Al kind of approached him at, you know, during his time with the team and asked if he would be interested in possibly joining the Raiders and potentially, you know, becoming a GM for the team at some point. And he talked about this whole situation. He says, hey, he spoke to John Madden about it, and you know, John Madden said he heard about it. He spoke to Mark about it, and all this type of stuff. This is after, you know, after Al passed away. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, it was just a situation that I guess, according to him, it didn't happen because Al passed away. The reason why I put an honorable mention flag on the play, I'm like, I'm not sure if I believe it, but then Al he's just different in the way he does
flag on the
things.
play either way. If it's true, it's flag. If it's not true, it's a flag.
Yeah. And his whole thing was like, man, when he first heard it, he was like, oh man, what do I have? Like, I don't have no experience being a GM, my background or whatever. And then I guess he spoke to Bruce Allen, and Bruce Allen's all like, well, like, background, like, no one has a background. No one really has a background in the NFL, but I don't know, whatever that means. But what was your take when you first heard that, man? Because I know when you hear it, you're like, is he telling the truth, or is just because I can believe it from a standpoint of Al just has a weird way of just like doing things. He would do something like that.
No, I can't see it. I can see it. Like if he said, "Oh, Al wanted to give me a job in the front office," okay, I can see that. You know what? You've been watching the game for a while. You've been around the game for a while. Al wants to bring you into the front office and have your opinion in there. Cool, understandable. Al wants to let you be the GM. So I mean, you got to either deal with the contract yourself or hire somebody that does it. You got to deal with the scouting yourself, and deal with the scouting team. You got to put together the draft. Well, come on, like, bro. And look, and know how you know, know what this was. You like, you ever had that friend when you were like, this is when you were younger, like in elementary school or middle school. And they tell you about I got a girlfriend. Oh, but she don't go here though. She go to the other school. Like, so there's no way for you to verify it. So there are four people that know about this. There's Mark Davis, who will never say it. Greg Papa, who said it. Al Davis, who's dead, and John Madden, who's dead. Nobody else knows anything about this but those four people.
That's true.
Like, come on, bro. Like, how stupid like this? People just be lying, dog, for no reason. Like, why?
I was like, why would? But damn, man, you think he's just lying? Think he's lying?
Straight capping.
Why would he lie though? For clicks?
Because nobody would lie. He would lie about this because you know what Al Davis would never do in a million trillion years? Make Mark Davis the GM.
You said
that's why Greg Papa will lie about it.
Make Mark Davis the GM.
That's what Al Davis would never do.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And Greg Papa don't like Mark Davis, so he tells the story that, oh yeah, I was gonna make me the GM over his son.
Damn. That'd be crazy if that's it's you know, I don't put it past people to be, you know, biased and, you know, hold resentment towards other people, which would affect their views on things and their decisions and things like that and what they say. I don't know, man. Like, you gotta have some level of integrity. Yeah, some level of integrity, but I don't know. Maybe that's me being naive because Greg Papa, obviously the voice of the Raiders for years. Much respect to him, especially in the Bay Area. He's now the voice of the Niners. Disgusting, but it is what it is. But I think, man, that was just a random. When he said that, I was like, that's true though. There's no one that can verify the story. But what's gonna happen? Someone's gonna ask Mark. Someone's gonna.
You wouldn't be able to trust what Mark says though. That's the thing.
At some point, Mark is gonna be like, someone's gonna ask, "Hey, is it true that Greg Papa was Greg Papa being a GM was gonna be groomed to be a GM at some point? Was that true?" I'm sure he's gonna be like, "Nah."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know.
But him and Greg Papa don't get along, so you can't trust what Mark says. You can't trust what Greg.
Yeah.
But this is when it's like context clues, critical thinking come into play, and like what makes the most sense in the situation. Would this have ever happened? And just everything that you know about Al Davis. First of all, Al Davis ain't anybody give him no power. That's first of all. And he never really put a succession plan into place. He thought of himself being immortal, so he wasn't worried about that.
Yeah. But hey, man, we are not done yet. Notable quotables. This is where we talk about notable quotables that we find interesting and we talk about. Severe. Should we go ahead and play that Urban Meyer breaking down the value of a 3-4? Here we go.
Yes.
So every year, the second way is the 3-4 defense. Brady, every year I would come into our defensive staff room and they knew it was coming. And I'd say, guys, listen, we're going to change to a 3-4 defense because I couldn't stand coaching against that when I was an offensive coach. And our D coordinator would always look at the recruiting board in the defensive staff room. You see Chase Young, Bosa. And these players, they want to play in a 4-3. They want to widen out, rush to the quarterback. They don't want to be closed down in a 3-4. So if you don't have the $30 million defensive ends or corners, what do? Cincinnati at BYU has excellent players, but they fit this scheme. The 3-4 defense is the second way to disrupt an offense. Why? Number one, you can see there's just a multitude of blitz patterns here. And it's very simple, Brady. You have 4 different linebackers now instead of 3. That's over 10 plus blitz patterns. When I say blitz patterns, that means a Sam and the Mike, a Will and a B, whatever it may be. You have to walk through all those. The second one, every offensive lineman wants double teams. They want to get in the ground. They want to come off the ball with their teammate or with the next adjacent lineman, double people off. Against 3-4 teams, there's almost no double teams. And then finally, you leave the center on an island. That's a nightmare for a center, especially if that nose guard is a great player. And let's talk about this, Brady, for a minute. So if I'm a center.
So, he goes on, breaks down, the whole dynamics of 3-4. But the key thing that he said was when you don't have a $30 million pass rusher, then you go into a 3-4. What did the Raiders recently do when they hired, their defensive coordinator, and then they talked to the coach recently? Did they not confirm that the Raiders are going into a 3-4? Interesting. Very interesting. So look, take with a grain of salt. It could mean something, could mean nothing, but I find it interesting that you got a college coach in Urban Meyer, who also coached in the NFL as well, but we got a lot of success in the college, but him breaking down 3-4 defense. But for him to make that comment, I feel like is very interesting. I think that you can make a connection to the Raiders and Maxx Crosby and how, a world without Max, you're going to have to adjust. There's going to be big adjustments to that. Obviously, we're going to add some talent. We're not going to not just add nobody. I think they're going to address that, but it's not going to be the caliber of Max. We can't expect that. But can we get 3 or 4 starters? Yes, it's possible. That's a really good chance we're going to get 3 or 4 starters. What was your take when you heard that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so the thing about the NFL is that nowadays teams spend about 65-70% of the time in sub packaging. So they're even if you're a true 3-4 defense, you spend a lot of time in nickel. So you're going to be you're gonna spend a lot of time at like 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side is that Maxx is not a true super great fit in the 3-4 in my opinion, or he's not a 5 tech, so he's not going to be a defensive end in the 3-4, and he's not really an outside linebacker in the 3-4. I mean, he could play it, but is that the best use of his skill set? So it's you like maybe
it's kind of what Raider fans didn't like about this version of, or last year's version of Patrick Graham's defense, aka Pete Carroll's defense.
Yeah.
When we see Maxx go into coverage.
Yeah.
And we're like, what are we doing? Like, why is Maxx going to, like, let him do what he does best and get after the quarterback? So if you're gonna have him at outside linebacker, there's gonna be times where he's gonna be in coverage.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. But yeah, like I said, the key thing that Urban Meyer said is like when you don't have a 30 million pass rush, you go into a 3-4. Yeah. Oh man, the writing just seems on the wall, man.
It's just, and we got some guys that can fit the 5 tech. I mean, I think Tonka fits that. Lalulu fits that. Adam Butler has played nose before, but I think he could play the 5 tech.
You giving up on Tyree Wilson?
Tyree can actually play 5 tech, but Tyree is disgusting, man. I'm done with Tyree. I'm done with Tyree. We're not gonna pick up that 5th-year option. Tyree gone in a year. We're not even. Man. I'm not even thinking about Tyree. And my Lord and Savior, if we see Tyree ever try to play outside linebacker, oh my God.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. That's not gonna work, man. But we're not done yet. Do we have another notable quotable?
Yeah, man. We can go with Tom Pelissero, kind of talking about this. We talked about a little bit about it earlier, but just the timeline with Maxx Crosby and some of his thinking about why the trade may happen sooner than later.
Not the Mike McCoy.
Mike McCoy. We can go to Tom Pelissero.
Okay.
Just looking at this from a leverage perspective, when do you maximize your leverage? I would say it's sometime before the market opens 1 week from today, because the moment some of these teams that need pass rush help go and spend that money someplace else, you start to run out of suitors, kind of like the Bengals did last year with Trey Hendrickson. Maxx Crosby is different than everybody else who's available. He's 29 years old, coming off of a knee surgery, but still very much in his prime. A culture changer behind the scenes. Obviously one of the best defensive edge players that we have in the entire NFL. He's different, but you still need the money to pay him, and you need the picks, the ammunition, maybe a player to go and acquire him. The moment you start making other moves, it becomes harder. So if the Raiders are going to trade Maxx Crosby, there's no hard deadline on it. He doesn't have like a conversion or anything like that makes it from a contract perspective necessary. But I have to believe the Raiders are approaching this, that if they're going to trade him, doing so before next week would make sense.
And you know what? That's a very good point. And I think that's why a guy like Albert Breer felt good enough to say that I think the Raiders trade him this week, is because of what Pelissero is describing, is that teams, once they spend their money, they're not going to be as open to trading for Maxx, because they're not able to, because they spend all their money, and he's going to come in making what he makes. Like for example, the Bears. I think I seen somewhere where the Bears are a team that's would be definitely interested in trading for a Maxx Crosby, but
Raiders fans would lose their minds.
I know. Like history repeats itself, right? But Bears would have to release some players in order to make it work.
Yeah.
Or probably include some of those players in the trade.
Yeah.
You think
I heard DJ Moore? No.
DJ Moore, nah.
Cool.
His skill set is just, I really don't like his skill set. Like I don't like those types of receivers. I don't even like the Deebo Samuels. I respect it. Productive. I respect it. But that's just not, I don't like the Deebo Samuels or the DJ Moore's where you gotta like throw bubble screens and get the ball and find a way for
in their hand.
Yeah, like there's definitely value in yak. Like don't get it twisted. Yak is definitely a strength that a wide receiver can have, but when it's the only thing you could do, like you could only,
That's like your best skill.
That's your best skill. It's just
you're not feeling Zachariah then. Zachariah is completely off your radar. Probably Casey too then. Casey Concepcion, because that's a lot of what he did too.
Yeah, it's just I'm not saying that it can't work. Their creative offense, like think about it, Kyle Shanahan as much as Debo was talented and able to provide what he can provide with his skill set. Shanahan was a part of the like unlocking that. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Especially with the NFL. I think, to be honest with you, I've never really seen a Debo Samuels receiver before.
Tight, yeah. Not before.
Like be a running back, but also be like a wide receiver and just his ability to just run with the football and just it's crazy. But yeah, man. I think DJ Moore is not a guy that I would want, but I think it was a linebacker they threw out there for the Bears that they're looking at to possibly. I think was it their starting linebacker too.
Tremaine Edmonds. Oh, he's a guy. When he was coming out, I wanted us to draft him.
I'll take him. I'll take him.
When he was coming out, I wanted us to draft him. But I think that's the year we grabbed Conley. I think this is the Gary and Conley draft.
2 first-round picks in Edmonds. I'll do it.
I'll do that. Oh, for sure, I'll do that in the second. But that's me. Yeah. But I think if we get Edmonds, I don't think they're giving up 2 first though.
So you put him in the same caliber as Kenny Clark?
I don't put him in the same caliber as Kenny Clark, but I don't think
starting caliber.
I think he's valuable. I think he's valuable enough to what they want to do that they won't
trade him.
That they won't want it. Yeah.
Trade
especially
him.
Since Ben Johnson is still young, Caleb Williams still young, Roma Dunze young, Luther Burden young, Kyle Monangai young, Kenneth Gainwell fairly young. They just revamped the offensive line. Jalen Johnson still got plenty of tread on the tire, so I don't think they're in like any massive rush. So I think if we get Tremaine Edmonds too, they're not gonna give up the other first. I don't think.
We'll see, man. But
I think that's his brother or his cousin, Reese Rock. That was Terrell.
Yeah.
Tremaine was drafted by the Bills. I think that was the year we drafted Garyon Conley.
Yeah, the Bears signed him in free agency, but he's played well for them, I think.
After they traded Roquan.
Yeah.
Or after Roquan left, whatever it was.
Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through to the late night 50-50 show, late night edition. So what we got, man? What's real, what's not? This is where we say statement. We react to it if it's real or not. What we got this week, Severe?
What's real, what's not? The statement for this week. It's a little bit of a trick one. Not really. They're always a little bit tricky, but
yeah.
The statement for this week is you guys don't know how to play already. We say a statement. You guys let us know whether it's real or if it's not. The statement for this week is both Fernando Mendoza and Maxx Crosby will be on the Week 1 roster for the Raiders. One more time. Both Fernando Mendoza and Maxx Crosby will be on the Week 1 roster for the Raiders.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's not real. I don't think Maxx gets traded. I want the Raiders to trade Maxx because I want them to get the best possible deal so then they could continue this rebuild and head it in the right direction and build this the right way and be able to have a great roster around Mendoza and all the players that's on his team. I don't want no excuses from Ashton Genty, Mendoza, because I feel like they have all the weapons. And the thing is, I feel like when you're able to build a good team, it makes it so much easier to win games. It makes it so much easier to evaluate the talent on the roster, the talent on the coaching staff, like everybody on the coaching staff. Like You got this much talent and you're not getting the job done, you got to go. Oh, Mendoza, you can't win football games and you got one of the best offensive line. You got one of the best weapons, best tight ends, run game, all that. Oh, okay. You get. Oh, Genty, you running game, you can't get it going. You got one of the best offensive lines, best play callers. Then it's like, oh, okay, you got to go. It makes it so much easier. So much easier. But it starts with Maxx, man. Maxx, I think is going to get traded. To me, in my opinion. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But I think it's not real. I don't think he's going to be on the roster. What's your take?
Yeah, I gotta agree, not real. Neither one of them. That trade back gonna hit like crack in the 80s, baby. No, that's sweet. I know Maxx is gone. Maxx is gone. You know, obviously Mendoza is likely gonna be the pick unless we get just a crazy offer at number 1 overall. But yeah, I don't think we keep Maxx, to be honest with you. I just think it's run its course. You know, like it was fun while it lasted. It was fun rooting for Maxx. It was fun seeing his progression from a 4th round pick out of Eastern Michigan to being second place in the defensive rookie of the year voting, to turn into one of the best pass rushers in the league, and just watching his growth over the years. It was great. Appreciate everything he did for the Raiders, but it like I said, it has run its course. He needs to go to a better place in order to kind of stamp himself as one of the best players in the league. That's what he wants to be, and we need the assets that are going to come from trading him. So I think it's a win-win situation. Let's make it happen.
Facts, 100%, man. Is that our only What's Real, What's Not statement today?
Yeah, that's the only one we got for today.
Oh man, and DH says the only way Maxx is traded is if the team makes an offer you can't refuse. Don Corleone voice. Otherwise, Maxx is staying. That's fair. I agree.
But an offer you can't refuse is a very relative term. Somebody could give up a 1st round pick and they say, "Man, I can't turn this down." Yeah. That could be a can't refuse for them.
Well, put it this way. The one thing that I'm learning with Spytek, he has a process of how he gets stuff done. Now, has Spytek been perfect? No, obviously he hasn't been perfect. Yeah. There's some trades I was like, but he took a risk. Thomas Booker for the corner that we traded, Ja'Cory Bennett. But
it's a worthy risk for him.
Yeah, worthy risk, because guess what? Ja'Cory Bennett got hurt.
Yeah,
it's the story of his career. He got hurt. Booker,
kind of ass.
Yeah, he hasn't really flashed like that. Maybe that's just what he's gonna be, man. Maybe he was just a guy that was just surrounded by great talent, and then he flashed at times around the great talent. But we'll see. But man, an offer that you can't refuse. We talked about. To me, it's just 2 1st round picks, man.
Yeah, I mean that'd be an ideal offer.
2 1st round picks. 2 1st round picks. But man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Look, hey man, we on the same page, yes, sir. And a player.
The player. Let's see, he took it to the next level. He took it to the next level.
I wouldn't be mad.
He said minimum.
Yeah. So I think people they want 3 starters. That's the way you got to look at it. Like how many start, because premium. When you're drafting the first couple rounds, you have a higher chance of finding a starter.
Yeah.
Not to say you can't find a starter in later rounds. You can, but there's a lower chance of you finding it.
Exactly. Obviously, Maxx is a later round guy.
Yeah. That's why Tom Brady's story is like always talked about. It's like crazy, like 6th round pick, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What's ironic is that the guy that was considered the greatest before him, Joe Montana, was like, what, 3rd round pick?
Dang, drafted in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I know Notre Dame, I think.
That's crazy. So probably the best number 1 pick is John Elway then.
John Elway, Peyton Manning.
Oh, you think you taking Peyton Manning over John Elway?
Career, yeah. Career. I mean, Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback of all time.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, like playoffs matter too.
Playoff is why Brady is the greatest. Like
Yeah.
playoff is why he's the best. But regular season, yeah, Peyton Manning is better.
Well, can you argue that like Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady early on in his career?
Oh, he wasn't. He wasn't. The defense carried
because he wasn't asked to do. He was asked to manage a football game, don't make mistakes, make good decisions. You know, but. It is what it is, man. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clack in. At this point, clack out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Great conversation. The conversation will continue around the Shield. Check us out later this week. We'll be back. Hopefully, we'll have a guest. Either way, the phone lines will be open. So that's going to be your opportunity to call in, chop it up with us, talk to us about the Raiders, how the offseason is going, free agency, who are guys that you guys are looking forward to sign, adding to the team, the draft. Mendoza, you feel like is he going to be the pick? Does Maxx get traded? Hey, if Albert Beer's right, that means probably by Thursday, Maxx will get traded. Now, the Raiders could wait till Friday. In the past, they've waited till like the end of the, you know what I mean? Like that Friday, you know, news dump day, like, you know what I mean? Like where it's slow, no one's really paying attention. So it could be until Friday this week until if he gets traded this week, but we'll see. We'll see, man. But Reese says Maxx is staying. The heat will be on those picks. I don't know if Spytek understands the evil that will uprise if those picks aren't reliable starters. Hey, man, that's the risk that you got to take, man.
Yeah, you from the block, Reese Rock. You know what they say: scary money don't make money.
Yeah. Hey, yes, sir. Hey, man. And anyway, what he's trying to say is that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear, man. In the top 15, we got a couple of top 15 picks. Because think about the possibility of, all right, we know Mendoza is number one pick. All right, let's just assume that's the case. We're not going to overthink it. Let's say it's the Rams, or let's say it's the Cowboys number 12 pick, and their 27th pick this year. If we get those 2 first round picks, who are you grabbing in that number 12 spot? They can get a number 1 receiver.
The number 1, yeah. Look. That could be after his combine performance. You might be able to get Cornell Tate right there. You wouldn't. You probably wouldn't be able to do that before. He was probably solidified top 10 pick.
Yep.
But after that 40, all right, Cornell Tate. Look, and Spytek the kind of guy that's not going to worry about the 40 time. You're like, what can you do on the field?
Or I'm not going to lie, impact pass rusher. You could possibly
see.
But
That's the thing though. Like, that's why I think they don't do that. I don't think they trade a first round pick. They don't trade Maxx for a pick and they pick a pass rusher, because it's almost like how we did Klee.
Yeah, but Klee was come on, bro. He had no business getting drafted that high. No business.
He didn't.
He didn't have the talent. He didn't even have the talent. He didn't have the talent to be drafted that high. But
there was like kind of because we won a meaningless game against Denver, so we put ourselves into a situation where, like, who else were we going to take?
Right.
So, you know, like, were there better players? It ended up being much better. Like Jeffrey Simmons was a guy I liked, and a lot of people like Montez Sweat. I went to go watch Montez Sweat, and I was like, who is this D tackle? That's really the one that's doing everything. I was like, oh damn, it's Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah. Where do you have him projected? Oh, late first. Why? Character concerns. Oh damn. Mm-hmm. You know, but I wanted Jeffrey Simmons. That's what I was high on. A lot of people wanted Montez Sweat after he blew up the combine. A lot of people wanted Josh Allen. Some people wanted Brian Burns. I think Brian Burns was that draft class. You know, I wanted Quinnen. That was my favorite player. Obviously, we weren't in position to draft him, so we had to settle for Klee. Some people wanted Ed Oliver. I think he was that same draft. Yeah, Ed Oliver was that draft class too. But, you know, it is what it is.
Man. All right, man. Hey, my guy Reese, man, he hilarious. But Clee was high character.
He was.
He was
supposed to be a foundation. People be trying to
thing
like,
about
people
Pharaoh,
trying to shit on Clee now. Cleveland Farrell was the best player on a dominant Clemson team. The team that had Christian Wilkins, that had Dexter Lawrence, that had boy that we drafted, forget the corner. I forget my guy's name.
But he was a really good college player. But
he was a great college player. Yeah, he's a great college player. He won the Ted Hendricks Award for the best defensive end. I think he was in a running for like the best defensive player in the nation.
But the pros is a whole different ball game, man.
Yeah, I'm saying he was a fantastic college player. Just like, did he have the athletic traits to be a great pro? Probably not. Like there was the potential there to be mine. Trayvon Mullen, there's his name. But there was potential there to be mine, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I'm looking at it from this perspective. If I'm looking at the best players in the draft, right? Let me see here. Let me pull up my guys here. Because I'm looking at wide receiver. We talked about wide receiver. I mentioned possibly like a pass rusher, right? And if we're looking at pass rusher, then you're looking at or Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain Jr. It's a possibility. Does he drop? Because everybody's talking about his short arms, but we know that he's
that's crazy.
Short arms.
That stat about a player's never ever at any position had 10 sacks with those short of arms. That's wild.
Sonny Styles at number 12. Would you take Sonny Styles?
Sonny Styles not making it out of the top 6. Sonny Styles not making the top 6. If he's there, you take him. You run that card in.
All right. David Bailey is the guy that if he's there at 12, but he's not going to be there.
Out of Texas Tech?
He's not going to be there.
He probably won't be there. He probably won't be there. If he's there though, you do. See, if he's there, he's so good. You kind of got to do that.
But you see how, like, from a talent perspective, night and day. Because I know you use Pharaoh as an example of like, all right, really good college career, but when you go to the pros, it's a whole different ball game. But he has the talent where you could see him being even better in the NFL. But David Bailey would be nice. He's gonna be younger player, gonna be on a rookie deal, and then you could just continue to just add talent to the defense after that. And you got pick. And if like and the scenario that I put up was the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys come calling at number 12, picking the 27. 27. What are you looking at? You looking at trenches? You looking at offensive line?
Yeah. Depending on what you do with the other 2 picks. Looking at offensive line.
Yeah, and just grab
or wide receiver if you don't go wide receiver early.
Denzel Boston.
Just
turn the card in right there. Or probably trade up, give a team your 4th round pick, just move up like 2 spots, and just guarantee that you get that wide receiver on the outside. Dwight Freeney had short arms too. Freeney had
I think the stat is
crazy.
I think it's less than 31 inches. So it wasn't just short arms. It's a certain length. If you had less than a certain, there's no player that had. I want to say it was 31 inches. That less than 31 inches. I don't think he even had 31-inch arms. I think that was the thing. So I think they said no player ever with those short arms had 10+ sacks.
I wouldn't be mad at this. Wouldn't be mad at that either, man.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, man.
At 27, what? Where are you doing? Where are you doing it though?
27.
27.
Or if he's there in a second. Pregon is a guy if he's there in a second or end of the first, for sure. Trading up for him, I don't know if they're gonna do that, especially if they're really aggressive in free agency, adding like some veteran options at offensive line. But
what if we took Kenyon Siddiqui at 20?
Oh man, that'd be so ugly. The other guy, we didn't even talk about the other guy that the number 2 tight end.
Stowers.
He killed the combine too.
He blew the combine up too. Yeah.
He
blew the combine up too.
Go linebacker at 27. Hey, I ain't mad at that either, man.
I'm not mad at that either.
Either way,
this is a deep linebacker draft though.
Hey, either way,
12, Peter Wood. He didn't have a good combine though.
Yeah, and then he didn't have a great year too.
Yeah,
you know, Clemson.
He's a monster though. He's a monster though.
Yeah, that's just tough. That's just tough. But we'll see, man. Severe, man. Let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Hey, man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, everywhere. The Severe Raider, man. Holla at your boy. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, the 50-50 show with my guy, PharoahNFL. And we hit up, the 50-50 show and Around the Shield. And then Sundays and Wednesdays in the Raider Roar Room, my guys, Chris Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. Then I got something that's going to be kicking off on Monday. It's in the works right now. I got some other content creators I'm going to be working with. It's not going to be Raider exclusive content, but, I'm trying to, branch out, expand a little bit. So tap in with your boy, man. Be on the lookout for that. It's going to be the same Severe. Still talking the same stuff. You know what it is.
Hey, man, be on the lookout, man, for sure, man. So, hey, man, if you haven't already, follow me all over social media, PharoahNFL. Obviously, give me a follow or subscribe to the channel, PharoahNFL, for sure. And also follow Around the Shield all over social media. And, yeah, man, hey, we'll be back at it later this week. Hopefully, we'll have a guest. Either way, phone lines will be open this Thursday Around the Shield. The conversation will continue. And the way it's working is news is going to be happening every day. Tomorrow is going to bring some new news. The next day, so we'll be here to talk about it.
Get some news during the show.
Yeah, exactly, man. Some breaking news. So we'll see, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Nah, man. Hey, just want to thank Max for his time. It's been a pleasure, brother. So, brother fans on